My way, or the highway, and in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Gallop Out. I'm your host, Ryan Anderson, being joined by my co-host, Jackson Muniz. And Mikey, it's been 3 weeks in a row. You're my other co-host at this point. Obviously, within the money, joining us once again as we go through the late pick five for this Saturday opening weekend at Fairgrounds.
It's exciting,
Jackson,
right?
how you doing?
To be on here. I can't imagine 3 weeks in a row with you guys. I must be part of the team, man. I'll be on here with Andy soon. Then what?
Hey, then it's a party, right? Jackson, how are you doing?
It's a party. I'm doing good. How you guys doing? Happy Wednesday.
Doing good. Doing good. We are joined by one more person tonight, who normally, Jackson, you and me, are the co-hosts for over on the HHH Racing podcast for Pacific Horse Players. But he's joining us today to go over this Fairgrounds late pick five sequence. It's little bro and Noah Maher. What's going on, Noah?
What's up, fellas? Happy hump day.
Who invited this guy?
Happy
No, but you were talking about co-hosts. You two guys at the top, you're my co-host.
There we go. Yeah, we are your co-hosts, truly. JD Fox is in the chat. What's up, JD? Will the grounds truly be fair? I hope Ryan can shed some insight. Hey, their turf course looks pretty good. That's the best that turf course has looked in years. They didn't put any Roundup on it, so that's obviously a positive, or whatever happened a few years ago. So we're back, and that's looking like the Masters type turf course. Wouldn't you say, Noah?
Yeah. Sure, Jackson would know all about it. Well, he doesn't really find himself there very often, but whatever.
Oh, and you have?
Yeah, bro.
Whatever. Start the races. Let's go. Come on.
All right, we'll kick things off. Again, we're doing a late pick five, 9-race program. It's Louisiana Stars Day, or Louisiana Champions Day, rather. So you have some state-bred races. And we're going to kick it off. We're going to mile state-bred optional claimers on the turf, 3-year-olds and upwards. I'll throw the picks up on the screen. Myself, Jackson, Mikey, and Noah, all the same top picks with the 9. Mikey, Jackson, and myself are all going 9-5. Noah is working overtime, going 9-7. Noah, you're the guest. You will start with you with the number 9. Wish carefully. Man, it's a consensus top pick. I don't love that for the how the records normally turned out between us. But Jack, go ahead and kick us off with the 9 here.
Well, it's a little scary that not only is it a consensus top pick, but our consensus top pick is 1 for 16 with 2 seconds and 4 thirds. So I guess that shouldn't really be a huge vote of confidence. But it seems like once they put this gelding on the grass, things changed. His first time on it was fine, 3 back, and then at Colonial. I think a replicating effort of that probably wins the race. Now, I think you can throw a line through the last race at Keeneland that was much tougher. Chapman's Peak, I think, is in the stake at Churchill on Saturday. The name of the stake is passing me right now, but that was much better. So I think you can excuse the effort, and he's going to find himself in a forward position. And I think a forward position on this turf course is always key, I think.
I'm with you. I didn't see a ton of speed in here. I thought Wish Carefully would be in front early and probably be in front late. Broke the maiden 2 back, and I thought was just overmatched last time out. Mikey, Jackson, anything to add on the number 9, Wish Carefully?
No, he seems pretty obvious in here, and the fact that we all have him on top makes me think he's not going to be 5-1. I think Noah hit the nail on the head. That last race just came against so much better at Keeneland. I mean, this is a massive drop in class. He's supposed to make the front in here. I think the cutback is going to do him a lot of good too, because he really was fighting to the stretch. I think it was like that last final furlong as he called it a day, and he was up there the whole time. Miles should be right in his wheelhouse. Even if he doesn't make the front, I think he can sit just off of it. So he seems very obvious in this spot.
He does. Mikey, we'll go to you now as you'll talk about our second choice between Jackson, myself, and you is Flash and Class, the number 5.
Yeah, this horse, I think, gets back to the turf here. Had a little bit of I think, a prep type race at Delta in October, going 7.5. I just pitched that race out. This horse is 4 turf starts. He has a win in 3 seconds. So this is where he belongs. And if you look at that, just like that previous horse, he had 3 starts on the turf with 1 win. So yes, the records don't look great, but the turf records are much, much better for these horses. So that's what I want to look at here. I don't care about those dirt races. They're meaningless in this context. So another horse that should be forward here. Certainly, I do think the turf suits him better than most of these. And it's state bred, claiming type life, non-winners of so many per life, non-winners of 3 life, things like that. So these are horses that have a lot of starts, a lot of losses. I do think that the 9 and the 5 are probably the best grass horses in the race. So those are the 2 that I would probably use in multis. I'm not interested in many others.
I'm right with you. The only other person on the screen that is interested in another one is the aptly named boss of all bosses. Noah, you picked this horse in second. What do you like about this runner?
Well, I feel like for the second spot, it's either the 5 or the 7, right? And obviously the form of the 5 is a little dirtied up, but I see 2 races, if not 3 on the page from the 7 that are better than the 5. And I know for sure that it's against much better. It just kind of seems like the 5 is the best of the state bred group. And then you've got the invaders of the 7 and the 9 who've been facing open company and maybe a little bit tougher. So I'm hoping the layoff kind of gets him back to where he's been, because I think the race at Churchill was pretty good. Esmark and 7 Wonders are some nice horses. So I think he was kind of the other one, but 5, 7, 9, I think we got it pretty much locked up.
Yeah, I would say so. I think we got it locked up. That's race number 5. I'm going 9-5. Jackson's going 9-5. Mikey's going 9-5. And Noah is going 9-7. Real quick, before we move on to the next race, be sure to go over and check out the audio version of this that'll become available or anywhere on In the Money, available at inthemoneypodcast.com. As Jackson, you and I are putting all of our shows, all of our content over on that channel. Mikey obviously joining us. And he has been on In the Money for quite some time, and Noah's here for the week. So we got one more person to throw into the group. But yeah, be sure to head on over to In the Money, catch all of our live shows there starting next week, and be sure to check out all the audio platforms and all the other content that they have, or we have rather, going on. We'll move on to race number 6. I'll put the past performances back up on the screen. Race number 6, we're going to mile and a 16th for the 2-year-olds on dirt. Picks are up. I am going 2-6. Jackson's going 4-6. Mikey's going 8-5. And Noah going 4-6. Copying Jackson word for word, bar for bar. So we're going to go to Mikey to kick us off here. You like the 8, third-time starter getting blinkers on and Lasix for the Brad Cox barn.
Yeah, so different rules in Louisiana, obviously, for 2-year-olds in Lasix. And you see a couple of these horses show up here, and a lot of horses adding Lasix for the first time. And I'd imagine, especially some of these high-priced firsters, they're showing up and getting Lasix. Well, I mean, maybe they've shown these top trainers that they need it because they were, like the 6 was in Kentucky, the 7 was in Kentucky, and all of a sudden they show up here getting Lasix for the first time. I want some horses that have raced. I do think that those horses are also getting Lasix, and they have a little bit of form to them. I went to the 8, to Arabia Wild, because this horse, I think, has raced okay first 2 times out and ran into Grand Mahogany. If you remember, Jackson, we were on that horse at Indy last week, and it was a Will Walden horse that absolutely galloped in a 1X. So this is a nice horse at this one. Or it's a two life, I'm sorry. But this was a horse that was well meant versus that one. And then I just think that coming out of that race, if he's able to repeat anything close to that, I know it was 3-5 in there, but he lost to a real horse back in September. I like that where he's drawn here. I like that he's getting Lasix. And I just think that he's an interesting alternative to some of these other ones in here. So the fact that he was bet his first 2 starts and he faced a real horse, I'll try him back. I'll try the 8 Arabia Wild to win this one.
I like that pick. Nothing against it. No, we started with you for your top pick last time, and you and Jackson are in lockstep. So, Jackson, I'll go to you. You're taking the number 4 Special Ops on top, along with our buddy Noah.
Yeah, this feels like a race where all the horses that I've run all kind of look the same to me. So I really wanted somewhat of a price in this spot. To me, the first race for Special Ops, it seemed a little preppy, especially for this barn. Like, I feel like this is kind of what he's targeting all winter is we'll get his race into this horse and then we'll send him to Fairgrounds where we can get Lasix on. And that's what's going on here. He kind of just lagged out the back into a pace that, wasn't that quick. And he made a good move to get up for third that day, defeating Black Hornet, who had a perfect trip and absolutely no excuse. So I don't need him in this spot. I think you'll see a much improved effort. The blinkers going on. I think he'll be more forward, going to the go-to rider, Ben Curtis. I think 5-1 is a fair price. And in a race where the favorites just don't do a whole lot for me, I think Special Ops is a horse that has some merit.
Yeah, I think Special Ops certainly has a little bit of merit there. I thought this was a pretty wide open race. Noah, anything to add on the number 4 Special Ops before I turn it over to you to talk about the number 6 Liberty's Champion?
No, I'm pretty much lockstep with Jackson, and I just kind of think the last race was a bit of a prep. I know he had this horse working at Ellis, and then they took him over to Keene. It looks like they were just trying to get a race into him before they took him down to Fairgrounds, because Rob Atras, I looked at it, he's only run 3 horses at Indy in the last 5 years. So it's not really a place that he goes to very often. So it just looked like they were trying to get one into him and then take him down to New Orleans and get him ready for the race on Saturday. And then the 6, I found it interesting that Martin Pedrosa ended up on this horse rather than the 8. And Pedrosa definitely rides a good chunk of the stock that Cox kind of keeps at Indy. They paid $300,000 for him. He's a son of Constitution, and seems like the dame side's all right. So just the fact that they end up showing up here and Pedrosa bothers to ride, I thought that was enough to put him in second.
Yeah, I picked this one in second as well. Jackson, you also did. Anything to add on the number 6 Liberty's Champion?
No, I agree with Noah. The big key for me is that Pedrosa rides this horse, because I already wasn't in love with the 8. So the fact that Pedrosa is riding this Brad Cox runner instead of the morning favorite, I think tells me which horse I need to be on in this spot.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. The jockey booking kind of went a long way here. One of the last horses we'll talk about, I like the number 2 El Capo on top. I like those 2 races at Woodbine to start the career. Felt like he got some good improvement going 1 turn to 2 turns in that second career start, and certainly took a step up against behind Deputy Curlin last time out. I think he can transfer that over onto the dirt. Authentic has been pretty good on any surface, but I think dirt and synthetic seem to be his top 2. So I thought maybe a bit of a fuzzy, and you might get away with a bit of a price here on the number 2 El Capo. So I want to take a bit of a stab against all the Indy horses that have invaded, but I share the opinion of pretty much everyone on the screen that we want a horse with some experience. Last horse we'll talk about, Mikey, I'll throw it back out to you. The number 5 Black Hornet coming in from Indy as well.
So just a couple of things with this one. I know Jackson says that the 4 was better first, or in that race there on October 2nd. But here's my thing with this horse. The reason that I picked the 5 over the 4 is the fact that he was in Brad Cox barn. They sprinted him first time out. He was bet. Then they stretched him out. I think this horse is going to benefit from Lasix more than any of these. And the fact that he's bred to go long, he's bred to be a decent horse. And the fact that he's been bet, he just looks like that he bled to me, especially that he made an early move wide and he was favored. He was ridden like the best horse, but he just got tired at the end. And now he comes here, gets Lasix, new barn. There's just lots of things to like for me, and a horse that really I do think some people had faith in. Now, he could be a money burner. He could just be no good, but I'm interested to see what happens when this horse gets Lasix. So that's why I put him in for second.
Yeah, certainly the first time Lasix and on the barn switch could be something to wake this one up. Feels like a very wide open race. That's race number 6, mile and a 16th for the 2-year-olds maiden special weight race. We have a stakes race coming up in race number 7. But first, for the audio listeners, race number 6, I went 2-6, Jackson 4-6, Mikey 8-5, and Noah 4-6. All right, race 7 picks it up on the screen. I went 5-9, Jackson went 7-8, Mikey went 1-7, and Noah, again, bar for bar, word for word, also went 7-8, copying Jackson. So
Crazy.
the joke has gone off of me and right on to Noah, so I love to see that. We're going to start with the favorite, and you, Mikey P, with Go Sugar, your top pick.
Well, if you look at last year, I usually don't like horses stretching from 4 furlongs out into these 6 furlong races, but this horse had similar preps last year. If you look, had an October 10th race at Delta going 4 furlongs and really wasn't quite ready in there. Ended up 3rd. I don't think that this horse likes Delta necessarily. If you look at his past lines, I mean, he has 23 lifetime starts, 12 wins, but the races at Delta aren't that great. Well, they prepped last year there. Now they had a race in between. But this year it comes into this race. He's sharp. He won this race last year. He's going to get the front for sure, to me. I think coming out of that 4 furlong race, he's got the inside post. And I think he's quicker than most of these. Now, I know he's 2-1. He was a big price in this race last year. It was almost 22-1. He won't be that in this race. But I think he's quicker than these horses. He likes this racetrack. He has 3 wins. And they're going to have to catch him and beat him. Now, is there enough pressure up front for them to do that? Possibly. And this horse is getting a little older. I mean, he is 5 years old, but I don't know. I looked at this race for a long time, and I understand the 7. I do think that there are other alternatives in here, but I just think ultimately that this horse is going to need to be caught. We'll see how the racetrack's playing, and I hope that if you get 2-1, I think that's just okay. I don't love the price, but I do think he probably wins.
Yeah, 2-1 is decent. I would not take anything lower than that. Noah, I'll go to you as we'll talk about the number 7. But first, are you trying to beat this favorite in terms of your horizontal plays, or would you include the number 1 Go Sugar and then go ahead and talk about the number 7 El Dinero?
I think I'm trying to beat. I think the bet that I'm going to be making in this race is the fact that the 1's maybe not as good as he was around the early spring and late winter of last year. And that was the few times that he had beaten some similar rivals. Because you can see the 7's lost to him 3 times. But on the flip side, I feel like the 7's getting better, and he's in tip-top form right now as a late season 4-year-old. And you just look at some of his races. You know, he had back-to-back wins at Evangeline Downs. He took him up to Louisiana last time. Just a horse on that day that got away with some cold fractions up front and couldn't quite get to him. But it was a long campaign after that, so they give him some time off going into this race. Obviously, he likes it here at the Fairgrounds, and I guess the 1 can maybe get the 6 furlongs. I'm kind of banking that maybe he's not as good at 6 furlongs. I know he's got that big number, but I think he's going to come back to him at some point, and hopefully the 7's got enough to run to get him late.
I am curious, though. You said that you don't think he's as good as last year, but last year when he came back and prepped in that 4 furlong race, he lost. He had an 80 figure. Now he shows up this time. He won. He gutted out a nice win and had an 86. So you think that's worse?
I would say I don't think he's as good as he was last year. I mean, he's got good numbers.
The prep was better.
Yeah, I think the prep was definitely better. But like you said, they had the race in between, and some of the races that he ran last year, they were at 5 and 5.5, and it seemed like he was kind of holding on for dear life at a short price. So at 2-1, do I want to bank that he gets 6? Maybe not.
Fair enough. Jackson, you also picked the number 7 on top. Anything to add on this runner before I turn it over to you to talk about the number 8, not on Herb?
Well, I think as far as the 1 goes, and that ties into 7, I think the difference between this year and last year is last year he was a big price. He was the unknown, and they were like, yeah, go ahead. You're a bomber. We're not worried about you. And then when he won, he came back and they were like, okay, it's a fluke. Go ahead and do the same thing again. And they gave him the easy lead again, and he won right back. And then finally they said, we've had enough. We're going to go pressure you. And he got beat by the 8 in that race. So I think it's probably going to happen again. This year, the target's on his back, right? He's the morning line favorite. The presence of the 8, the 8's going to be close. But Smash It is the horse that's really going to pressure the 1 in here. Smash It was really good as a 2-year-old for Todd Fincher. Very fast horse. If you look what he's done, only sprinting on the dirt, he was very, very good, arguably running numbers that are better than what the 1 is running, and he did it as a 2-year-old. So I think the presence of the 3 could make things very difficult for the 1, and it could fall into the lap of a horse like the 7, who, as Noah kind of mentioned, is getting better and better with each and every start. I know he lost last time at odds on, but he lost a horse that got an easy lead up front, and that has run 100-plus buyers in 2 of his last 3 starts. So I think the 7 in this spot is going to get the setup. He's an improving 4-year-old. Giving me the 7 from off the pace on top in this race. But I do think the 8 a little bit. It could be used as more of a B, I think, because as we mentioned, he did beat the 1 horse last year when they finally said enough, it's enough. We're going to go pressure him. And he's only going to sit 3rd in this race, right behind the 1 and the 3, and get the first jump on the deeper closers. I guess the layoff could be a bit of concern, but listen, I think when the trainers bring his horses back in the stakes races, they're not in there to give him a race. They're ready to go. So if he's good enough to win, he's going to have every opportunity to get the job done in this spot.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that point at all. That was one I gave a look to. Obviously, the jockey's a piece of shit, but we'll move on. I thought the number 5, Macho Beanie, for me deserved a look. I wanted this one to kind of blow up the board. I do like that this one is cutting back from the mile and the 2-turn races, meaning he's going to have plenty of that foundation under him. Cutting back in a race that I think has a lot of pace, or has enough pace rather, to maybe set up from him, he's probably going to come from a little bit off of it, but I do think that that's a doable position, and he was forward on those stretch outs, so he has maybe a tiny bit of speed to contend with going 6 furlongs. I would probably love if this one was going 6.5, a little bit more than 6, but I thought this was okay. I thought Smash It. I'm with you, Jackson. Smash It's going to be the main pace presence. And I thought maybe some others go and try and make things difficult on the number 1 Go Sugar early. Maybe it sets up for an absolute bomb at a price. And CJ Hernandez always rides well up at the Fairgrounds. So I want to go with a bit of a price with the number 5 on top. We will.
I don't know about the 3 pushing the 1, just because, I mean, Ben Curtis is not really a send rider. And I mean, this horse has faced nothing but straight 2s and straight 3s. He has to step up against older. I mean, these are really fast sprinters here. This guy, I mean, he could improve. I get that. But to think that he's as quick as the 1, I think is that'll be interesting. We'll see what happens with that.
I'm definitely interested.
But you got to remember, he was going up against your favorite horse, the entire world at one point, Citizen Bull. And he was going toe to toe with that guy. And he was right there.
Yeah, but that was quite a while ago. I mean, and he is laid up since February. You know how I love that. So we'll see. I mean, they didn't think this horse was a sprinter when they were stretching him out and running into some Derby, and
that's Derby fever. I mean, everyone gets Derby fever. You got to give him a shot.
But this horse isn't even bred to go short. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're also getting
the switch from Fincher to Brendan Walsh. I think you got to take that into account.
I think with this horse, the board is going to tell a story because there's zero workout info in this horse. If he's getting bet like he's going to run, I think you can probably feel pretty confident he's going to be. If he's 6 to 1, I would call him pretty cold on the board, and I would not use him at all.
I will say he's got the work pattern that I like, where he fired a really strong bullet 2 back, and then Brendan Walsh really eased things up, going a nice maintenance 5 furlong drill. So he seems to be sitting ready, and he was very, very quick as a 2-year-old. So we'll see if he can translate that now late into his 3-year-old season. But we'll wrap things up in race number 7. I'm going 5-9. Jackson's going 7-8. Mikey's going 1-7. And Noah is going 7-8 as well. We'll move on to race number 8. We're going a mile on the turf, state bred optional claimers. Once again, picks going up on the screen. I went 4-5. Jackson went 10-7. Mikey went 7-9. And Noah, with his own opinions, kind of went 4-9. So, hey, love a little bit of change in the picks here. So, Jackson, we got to start with you. Comanche Warrior for Ben Curtis. What do you like about this top pick?
Yeah, this is a race that just feels loaded with speed. And I think there's 12 horses lined up, and I think 6 of them probably want the front end. So definitely a horse coming from off the pace. The 4 horse is the obvious one that I think you guys both have. I don't think there's any shot you're getting 5 to 1. He's going to be more like 2 to 1. He's just the fastest horse that's supposed to get a setup. So I wanted a horse at a bit of a better price. I think Comanche Warrior fits that bill in here. And the turf is obviously the biggest question mark, but he did run on it once as the younger horse, and he got a very similar number to what he was earning on the dirt at that point in his career. So I don't think the turf is necessarily a question mark for him, or it's going to be a problem for him, I should say, especially when he's going to be 12 to 1 in here. He's a horse that is capable of closing from off the pace. He's not going to be near the front. He's going to come late with his run. And look what he's done recently on the dirt. I mean, those are numbers that fit really nicely against his group. So he's got Ben Curtis. He's got things going for him. And I think 12 to 1 is a good price for a horse that's supposed to get a setup.
I'm with you. I don't think the 12 to 1 is a bad price at all. I'm not going to try and talk you off. And Ben Curtis rode phenomenal here at the Fairgrounds meet last year. So certainly nothing to knock. And he's taking that turf form all across the country. Noah, we'll go to you. We share a top pick in the number 4, Pegaso. Probably not going to be that 5 to 1, but does have the strongest numbers. Looks to get the setup. Anything else you like about your top pick in here?
No, I think he makes a lot of sense. I think you can probably replace that 1 with a 2. 5 to 2 would probably be a pretty solid price on him. But like Jackson said, it seems like he's going to get a setup, and you see some of his prior races. He's just been running in races that he hasn't necessarily gotten the setup. You can totally toss the last race that was on dirt. And then just 3 out of the 5 races before that have been on the grass, and they've been very good efforts, which I think you can make really good cases that they're one of the fastest, if not some of the fastest numbers just from anybody in this race. So he's run some good numbers. He's done it against decent fields where we've had some horses that have beaten him that have come back and won. He just seems like he makes all the sense in kind of a murky race. He's kind of the one that you could maybe lean on.
Yeah, Mikey, a bit of a murky pace. Well, maybe not murky pace scenario, because it does appear that there's plenty of speed in here, but maybe a bit of a murky race in terms of just not a whole lot of horses that really wow you in here. But you ended up with the number 7 House Bourbon as your top pick.
Yeah, I thought this race was this is a good race. It's really tough. I think you could spread out here and use plenty. I think I used House Bourbon because I like the 8 to 1 morning line. And really, talk about races with no chance. I mean, they put this horse in a Delta last time against Touch Upon a Star. And I mean, there's just no way that this horse was going to do anything in that spot. But his turf races aren't terrible. And, you know, if you look back to some of the races at Evangeline, they're sharp. This horse has speed. Now, there is some speed in this race, but this horse has 4 turf wins. And, you know, if you look, you know, like Jackson picked the 10. I mean, that horse has never seen the turf. Now, well, maybe, you know, he might jump on the turf and be okay, but he's made 168,000 on the dirt. And, you know, his sire has 1 turf win lifetime. So as far as siring, so I mean, you have to get a price there. You're going to get a price in the 7. This horse has 4 lifetime turf wins out of 5, you know, of his wins. So I just think that sometimes I like horses like this that, you know, are going to take to the turf. You know that this horse, this is what he wants to do. He had absolutely no chance last time, and he's going to be a price in this spot. So I just think that he's going to be, maybe gets that right trip up close to the pace, and he's got the class. He's been in some really tough spots also, if you look some of those state-bred stakes lines back from earlier in the year. So he's got some class to him. He's got some back numbers, and he's going to be a price. So I think that that's, you know, a horse that in a wide open race that I definitely want on side.
Yeah, House Bourbon definitely has you know, some class to get back to. I was going to ask you about the pace scenario, but you kind of told us the trip that you envision him sitting, which is maybe a little bit closer to the pace. I'll ask you, and then Jackson, feel free to chime in, as House Bourbon is your second pick. Do you think House Bourbon has a chance to, you know, make all on the front end? That seems to be where maybe he's at his most comfortable, and he is very fast early. So do you think with some intention he can clear off and take them all the way, or do you want him sitting, you know, maybe a length off?
No, I think he can. If you look at his pace figures, they're quite fast. And another thing I didn't mention earlier was that the horse was claimed to back and then shoved in a $100,000 stake race. So if you look back, you know, September 22nd, his 144, 141, 121 early pace figures. The race prior, 134, 121, 107. Well, look around this page, and there's not too many horses that can keep up with him early. Can he hang around? We'll see. But I do think he's going to be up close. He's got some class. We'll see. Second time for the barn. They obviously were ambitious first time that they put him back in. So he's just, you know, he has to fight the pace in here. Can he get the right trip? I hope so. But I mean, that's the issue. Can he overcome that?
Yeah, Jackson, I'll turn it over to you. In the past on opening weekend, if my memory serves me correctly, we've seen the speed play rather well on the turf. Do you think what's the trip you envision for the number 7 House Bourbon?
He's got to go. He's ran 27 times. You look through all 27 races. He has never passed a single horse in his entire life. So his only chance is to go to the front end in this spot. And I think sometimes when you have these races that are loaded with speed, the horse that makes a front is the one that you want, because all the other speed horses are not comfortable. They're all out of their element, and everyone else towards the back has to go much faster too. And that's how you end up with these wire jobs at prices like this at 8-1. So I do think he is the best of speed in this race. We saw him beat the morning line favorite earlier this year, doing just that, just sending the front, and he ran a horse into the ground. That was the last time we saw the morning line favorite. So I think if you want a speed horse in this race, it is House Bourbon. I think 8-1 is a pretty fair price on him in this spot.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think 8-1 is more than fair. You could even see that horse maybe scooting up a touch or two in price. Noah is interested in another speed horse. Pick this one in second. Has been forward, maybe not quite as fast early, but Noah, tell us why you like the number 9 Cypress Gold as your second pick, and Mikey's second pick as well.
Yeah, I'm curious to what you have to say, Mikey, because it seems like the Connections spent half the year, if not more, trying to get this horse on the grass. And they finally did last time at the beginning of September, and he won with a 72 buyer and a 98 time form, which, I mean, if you look around, it's really not that far off. And it seems like he's got enough speed to where he can maybe get into the second flight, but also, you know, it seems like Rodriguez would be smart enough to ease off of it, and let horses like the 7 and the 12 go and really heat things up, and hopefully he's able to kind of sit that second flight. I know he's kind of been on the lead with maybe some slow paces, but I think that will naturally maybe get him to sit, and he's off the layoff, and 2 of his wins have been on the grass, one of them here at the Fairgrounds. So I just thought he was really fascinating. It seems like if the board tells you that he's live, he's probably going to be live.
Yeah, Mikey, any thoughts on the number 9 Cypress Gold?
Yeah, I agree. I saw the same things, just the fact that they kept trying to get the grass and could never get it, and they finally got it, and the horse woke up and was able to win. I don't think he's quick enough to keep up with some of these horses inside early, so he's going to have to get that stalking type trip. And it's just a matter of, I think that maybe this horse is a grass horse in a race that, is going to have a hot pace. I do think he could take another step forward. The connections are very sharp here also. So there's things to like, and you can see, that, I mean, he's up against it if he gets parked wide. That's the problem with him. If he tries to go too early, he needs to kind of get that second flight type of trip. And then I think he's very interesting.
Are you guys at all worried that all 3 of his wins came on the front end, and he's probably like the 5th most likely horse to make the lead in this spot?
I don't know. I think he's hard to gauge because there's just so many races that they tried to get on the grass and couldn't. So I don't know. That could be circumstantial. It's not. You're not wrong, but he's not quick enough to get the front in this race. You're totally correct about that. So he's going to have to maybe change his style to be able to be effective.
We'll see come Saturday. One of the last horses we'll talk about, the number 5, Wicked Secret, horse I picked in second. I thought this one was another one that, might benefit from a hot pace up front, obviously. Coming in off that September 1st effort when losing to Cypress Gold. But Cypress Gold, as you saw on the running line previously, went wire to wire. That wasn't the quickest pace. I think Wicked Secret's going to get a much, much quicker one to close into today. So I thought certainly this one from a nice inside draw as well. Shouldn't lose too much ground. Should just kind of get over to the rail as best as he can. Save the ground. It has plenty of good turf numbers and consistent turf numbers at that to get back to. So hopefully number 5, Wicked Secret, could maybe get the job done as well if they really heat things up front. Noah's just spamming hell yeah, Noah, in the chat. I see it, I believe, 4 times. That is arguably too many times, but whatever.
I did.
He's fired up. He is fired up. So we'll wrap up race number 8. I am going 4-5, Jackson 10-7, Mikey 7-9, and Noah 4-9 for all of our audio listeners. We'll move on now. Race number 9, going a mile and 70 yards. We have another stake race for the Louisiana breds. Picks are up on the screen, and Noah's back to his old ways. I am going 6-9, some funny numbers. Jackson's going 9-6. Mikey and Noah both in lockstep going 6-3. Jackson, I think you are up. You picked the number 9, if I can find him. Good and Stout. Pedroza aboard. This is your top pick.
I gotta say, I'm surprised. I thought this was the toughest race. I thought it was the most wide open race, and we all are thinking pretty similarly about it, apparently. So this is a race where I really thought you could make a case for 9 of them, maybe 10 of them. And I want to do a little price shopping in here. I think Good and Stout is just as good as anyone else in this spot. And I know he's not going to take too much money compared to a few others in this race. You look at the race 2 back at Louisiana Downs. That was a good race where I think the ride made the difference in that spot, where he was not on the lead, but he was close enough to get the jump on the deeper closers, such as I believe the 6 was the horse coming after him in that race. And he got the jump on that horse that day and was able to fend them all off. I kind of envision that being the same trip he gets in this spot too. And I do like that Pedroza bothers right back, because you see what he's done with his horse in the past. He's always run well when Pedroza bothers to ride. So I do like that. Last time didn't quite work out over at Delta Downs. They were chasing Touch Upon a Star, who would be 1-20 in this spot. It was going 7 furlongs, a little shorter than he wants to go. I do think he, more than most, definitely wants to go the mile 16th, go into 2 turns. And again, I just think he's every bit as good as anyone else in here, and I know he'll be a fair price. So give me him on top.
I'm with you. He's definitely every bit as good as the rest of this field going 2 turns. 1 turn, as you mentioned, 7 furlongs, probably not the distance that he wants to go. 2 turns, though, that is his game. A mile 70 is right in his wheelhouse, and Pedroza always rides him well. Something that is true with the 9, that is also true with the top pick of myself, Noah, and Mikey with the number 6, Highland Creek. Exiting a race facing Touch Upon a Star, the very good Louisiana bred who beat Open Company in a graded stakes last year and has continued to roll. That's kind of the running line that I wanted to focus in and key in on in this race, because as Jackson said, you could make a case for about 10 of them in this field, but I felt like the runners that are facing, Touch Upon a Star, maybe they're the ones that I want out of there. Mikey, I'll go to you first. What do you say about the number 6, Highland Creek?
Yeah, Touch Upon a Star. I mean, he actually beat Sierra Leone earlier in this year at Fairgrounds, and that horse is just a different level. This horse has faced that horse twice in a row now, finished second to him at Delta, going 7 furlongs, and he's just always around it, right? If you look at his record, I mean, he's 45 starts. How would you like to own this horse? I mean, he's made $500,000, 10 wins, 7 seconds, 6 starts. I mean, he's right there all the time. And he just gets away from a really tough rival. Not chasing that one, I think, will be better for him. And he's just going to get the right trip to me in this race. And I think he's faster than most of these horses. So he should get that outside stalking type trip. And he doesn't have to chase down Touch Upon a Star. And now, like Jackson likes the 9. Well, that horse was able to beat this horse a couple back. So a lot of these horses look the same, really. And I think the right trip will make a big difference. So I don't mind him either. I think he has a shot. And he's going to be a price, too. I don't know, Jackson. Who do you think gets bet in this race? That's the thing. Like, who takes all the money? Because I know that you see some higher morning lines. I mean, who gets played in here? Because I don't really know where
the reason I don't have him on top is I think he'll be favored come post time.
Good luck.
You're going to see the big numbers, see the open class last time, Touch Upon a Star. He was second to him. I think this horse is not going to be nearly 8-1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I thought this one was probably going to be in that 5-2 range. I do think it's going to be a race with a favorite above 2-1. If I had to guess come post time, it just feels like a very deep and competitive race. I don't think any horse should be lower than 5-2. Noah, what are your thoughts on that? And then the number 6 Highland Creek, your top pick as well.
Well, I will say Mikey nailed it when he said that the 4 in the last race at Churchill on Saturday was going to be 2-1. We'll leave it at that.
Everyone laughed at me.
But yeah, no, I'm with you guys. I think he's clearly the horse to beat. I mean, you see he's lost the Touch Upon Stars last 2 races, which is why I think you're better off, taking your money somewhere else if you think that you're going to get 8-1 on him. And the only race that you could really poke holes in was when Jackson's pick, and then the horse that got second kind of got the jump on him. So I expect him to take quite a bit of money in the win pool.
Yeah, me as well. We'll go to you. I will stick with you, rather, Noah, with the number 3. Actually, we got to go to Mikey. Let Mike figure it out. Mike, you picked this one in second. Take us home with this.
Yeah, total name play. I mean, any Mike horse I'm definitely going to be using on all tickets. I do think this horse has a chance, though. A couple off the turf lines were pretty sharp. He won 4 straight and then finished second last time in a more difficult spot that was off the grass. I do think this is a little bit tougher race, but this horse has a chance in here. He's just improving. He likes to win. Speedy. He has a win over the track, and he has Mike in the name. So, I mean, there you have it. Yeah,
I mean, can't be beat when you have a name like Mike in the name. You just can't. Noah, anything to add on the number 3? Let Mike figure it out.
No, I kind of feel like there's horses that are quick, but there's nobody that really wants the front end. I feel like Let Mike Figure It Out might be the one where they just let Mike figure it out on the front end, and he takes them the whole way. So he's in raging form. He's getting better with every start. They give him a little break going into here. Obviously, you see the trainer; he's doing very, very well for the year. So I'd like, if I were betting Mike's horse, to put this gelding on the lead and take your chances that way.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about the pace scenario of this race as they're going the mile and 70 yards. But you bring up a really good point. There's not a whole lot of early gas in here. Let Mike figure it out. Certainly looks like he could lead them all the way. Mikey, we'll start with you. Do you think is that where you envision this horse early, or how do you envision the pace in this race?
Yeah, I think he's got to go. Will the 1 push? Maybe. But the 3 looks quick early. I do think that he's supposed to get the front in this race. I think the 6, maybe the 5 and the 6 could be outside stalking. I would expect the 6 to be a little bit closer now. He wants to be closer. In the races that he's raced very well, he's been closer to the pace. In this spot, you're away from the killer, who's just way quicker than anything. In here, he's going to be closer. So I could see them lining up 3-6 or some version of that.
Yeah, I could see the same. I do think Let Mike Figure It Out definitely makes it to the front. So for our audio listeners go ahead, Jackson.
Does anyone find the 11 horse interesting at all? Hey Jude. Because that comeback race was pretty
great
good.
Song.
It is a great song. I mean, they rode him like they knew he was going to win the whole way. Like, we're going to go 5 wide. We're going to move early on the turn. It's not going to matter because we have the best horse. And that's exactly how he ran. He crushed those. And I understand these are better horses, but boy, that was a good comeback. And if he takes a step forward, he could be right there.
It was a good comeback, and I mean those are really strong connections with Tom Amos and Maggie Moss as the owner. They are win machines together, and not to mention, again, Ben Curtis is going to be aboard, and we've talked about his success at the Fairgrounds. So I do think the 11 has an outside shot for sure. We only have our top 2 picks in here, but I believe I had Hey Jude either 3rd or 4th. I'd have to check my notes, but certainly a contender up there. So, do we think Hey Jude maybe takes a fair bit of money, is either maybe favorite or second choice just based off that win last time and the connections?
I think it's money. Yeah.
I think he'll be about the morning line because just connections wise, I think he'll take money. He's a 3-year-old. A lot of he's less exposed than a lot of these other horses that we kind of know what they are at this point. So I do think the morning line's probably about right on this horse.
Jackson, what did you think of that field though that he beat? Because if you look, I mean, there's a lot of 7,500, 15,000 kind of claimers in there. I know they wrote it for a 3X, and you don't really see too many 3Xs written at Delta, I wouldn't think. But that feels like that the horses that were entered aren't really a 3X caliber. Just looking at some of the horses that were in that spot.
No, that's a very fair question, and I totally agree. What did he beat in there? Probably not much, but I do think again they felt like he was just going to win that thing, and he did. And now that he'd show up here, the tougher spot, I think, is a sign of confidence for him. So I think the biggest question for me about this horse is the 2 turns. He ran well earlier this year in the second race, but the first race was bad, and he didn't have a crazy excuse that day. So I'm not sure he necessarily wants to go this far, but I do think he's very talented.
I think the big issue for me, Jackson, would be the post. They're going 1.70 miles, which I'm not a Fairgrounds expert, but you don't have a ton of room going into the first turn, so just being hung out that wide. The horse that I think likes to show tactical speed, I was on the fence with him and the 5 because they kind of seem like the up and comers where you haven't seen them for a little while and they're a little slow, but they could definitely step up and make things interesting.
Yeah, I will say Sipping on Gin has done very little wrong in his career. Never worse than second. Obviously, I guess the debut, but was awarded second purse money because the winner was disqualified, but has done fine routing. Maybe numbers are a little light, but as Noah said, this one, maybe you don't know entirely what the ceiling is on a runner like this as a late season 3-year-old.
Also, Nantasket Beach went off at 4-1, not 2-1, Noah. So you're just making things up again. Thanks.
No, I was
from topping picks to just saying things. Noah's really taking the wheel.
No, Mikey said on the last show that he thought Nantasket Beach was going to be 2-1, so that's why I was giving him shit for it.
Oh, you're doing it. Okay.
Well, he did open at 5-2. To be fair, I mean, he took a fair amount of money off an 8-1 morning line, and the 9 took a big bet late, so I wasn't that far off. I did backtrack out of that after I said it.
You did float up in price a little bit on that horse, but anyway, we'll wrap up race number 9. I'm going 6-9, Jackson going 9-6, Mikey going 6-3, Noah going 6-3. That is the show. That was a competitive sequence. Maybe not a star-studded late pick 5, but Louisiana Champions Day is always a good race card, and racing back at the Fairgrounds is normally a good thing. So, any other thoughts on this sequence other than all of us probably hoping that Paco Lopez never wins a race? Jackson, I'll go to you.
No thoughts. I do think it was a fun sequence, though. I think there are some races that were pretty competitive, and in a few of those for sure, I think you can find some value because I think there are a couple of favorites that are just going to be just way over bet and definitely want to be price shopping a little bit.
Noah, your thoughts on this sequence?
It was fun to handicap with you guys. Looking forward to the pick 6 carryover at Del Mar. I know we're going to be covering that tomorrow night, and interesting to get through that and see how many times these boys copy me instead of the other way around.
That's right. I doubt that'll happen because we pick winners. Mikey, before I turn it over to you, quick note on the show on HHH for Pacific Horse Players tomorrow. With Friday racing being canceled, it is an all dirt Saturday program. But yeah, we're going to be covering that $2 pick 6 with a carryover of over $51,000. So that's going to be a lot of fun to dive into. Mikey, your thoughts on this sequence, and then what we at the Money have going on this week?
This is a good sequence. This is fun, actually. This is a great group here. I like adding Noah to the mix, and because he likes to do his share of ball busting, so that's always a good addition. As far as the sequence goes, Fairgrounds can be tough. I mean, you can get some bombs in there. So you got these big fields, you can get some chaotic results. So don't be afraid to take shots. Maybe include a horse or two that may be a big price because you get some of these pick 5s that pay huge. I think they're adding a pick 6 there, similar to the Churchill rules. I know it's a jackpot, but that'll probably be better than that pick 5 that they had before. So I don't know. Fairgrounds going to be interesting this winter. Hopefully we get some more coverage on the network. As far as the rest of the week, we'll have early Aqueduct Saturday. We're going to have some Churchill for Saturday also, and some JRA this week. So that's where we're at.
There we go. Gotta love it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This has been the Gallop Out. Your host, Ryan, co-host Jackson Muniz, co-host at this point, Mikey P, and Noah Maher, our special guest on the day. as he does some sort of 6-7 thing to get us out of here. But thank you guys for watching, and we will see you later on the Gallop Out.